time at the alfalfa dinner. We did well. I hope we did well, but it was very good. Tremendous people. So what's up?
Sir, could you give us an update on where your thinking is right now with Iran, if you have made a final decision on what you want to do?
I mean, I certainly can't tell you that, but we do have very big, powerful ships heading in that direction, as you know. I can't tell you,
Okay.
But I hope they negotiate something that's acceptable.
Saudi Arabia's defense minister reportedly said that if the U.S. backs off the strike, that will only embolden Iran. What's your reaction to that, sir?
Some people think that. Some people don't. You could make a negotiated deal that would be satisfactory with no nuclear weapons. They should do that, but I don't know that they will. But they are talking to us. Seriously talking to us. What about it?
President Bush.
I did. Well, I met with Jeb Bush. I was on Jeb. I think you mean Jeb. No, I introduced him. Nice. He's a good fellow. And he's been very nice to me the last 6 months. I don't know what happened, but he was very nice. We had a good time.
Mr. President, on your Fed nominee, Kevin Marshall, why are you willing to wait for Senator Tom Tillis to leave the Senate, essentially, until, if you have to, if Senator Tillis...
For Tillis? I didn't say I wouldn't wait, but I mean, he's leaving the Senate for a reason, because what he asked for didn't get done. So it's one of those things. I think he may get Democrat votes, too. I think he's so good that he'll probably get Democrat votes. He should. He's very good. My choice, my Fed choice, he should get Democrat votes.
Do you have a sense of what he's going to do as far as interest rates are concerned?
I hope he's going to lower them. I mean, if you watch him on television, because I watch interviews and statements, I hope he's going to lower them, but he's going to have to do what he wants to do.
Did he tell you? Did he make any commitments?
No commitments. I don't want to do that. I couldn't do that, I guess, if I wanted, but I didn't. I based it on quality. I mean, he's a very high-quality person. He should have no trouble getting through.
Mr. President, did you make a comment at the dinner about saying that you would sue?
About what?
About suing Porsche, and he does not lower interest
Yes,
rates?
it's a roast. It's a roast. It's a comedy now.
So it was a joke.
And I said, of course, it was all comedy.
And the first thing is, you're suing the IRS. Talk a little bit about what it's like to be on both sides of a lawsuit.
It's very interesting. I have another one where I've virtually won the Mar-a-Lago break-in suit, and I have to work out some kind of a settlement. I'm supposed to work out a settlement with myself because when the FBI broke in, we sued. Before I was president, I sued, and obviously it was a very good suit, and I have that one, and I have to work out a settlement.
Have you instructed Dan Bondi on how to handle that at all?
Well, I think what we'll do is do something for charity. We're thinking about doing something for charity where I'll give money to charity. We could make it a substantial amount. Nobody would care because it's going to go to numerous very good charities.
Sir, you guys had a statement today about Minneapolis and how you might not see federal authorities intervene. You asked
What?
Secretary Note not to send in DHS in Democratic states.
No, I let them ask us if they want help. They're always complaining. If you go in, they complain. They complain no matter what. We brought crime to the lowest point in the history of our country. 125 years, 1900. Think of it. Year. Think of that. 1900. Can you imagine? We have the lowest crime in the history of our country, despite the fact that our country was riddled with a lot of bad people from the Biden open border. But we've taken a lot of them out. We're at the lowest point in history. We have the least number of murders in the recorded history of our country. That's incredible. But honestly, the crime-ridden cities are all Democrat-run cities. And if they want help, they have to ask for it. Because if we go in, all they do is complain. But if they want help, they can ask for it. And they're going to need help. Los Angeles is an example. We went in, we solved it. The chief law enforcement officer in Los Angeles said they couldn't have done it without the federal government. A week later, he said they didn't need the federal government. So we don't want that. If they want help, they'll ask, but they have to say please.
On DHS funding, sir, the Democrats have made 3 demands. They say they want no roving patrols, they want established rules for use of force, and they want mass assault.
Well, we'll talk about it. It's not appropriate yet. We have to let a little time go by, but we'll talk about it. But you know, we want. I got elected for law enforcement, with the border, for the economy, things I've done a great job with. I mean, when you have the lowest crime rate in the history of our country, recorded in 125 years, to be exact. So I've fulfilled so much. We'll have to talk about that over the next 3 or 4 days.
Mr. President, what did you think of the latest release of Epstein files, and do you think your critics will be satisfied with?
Well, they should be, because it looked like this guy Wolf, who's a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, you know, the radical left. That Wolf, who's a third-rate writer, was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, politically or otherwise, and that came through loud and clear. So we'll probably sue Wolf on that. And maybe the Epstein estate, I guess, I don't know, but we're going to certainly sue
You
them.
want to sue the Epstein estate?
Well, you may, I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolf to do harm to me politically. That's not a friend.
On your plan for Venezuela oil, sir.
You okay down there? You okay? I don't want to let on top of it.
You said that the profits will be split, with the U.S. and Venezuela both benefiting. What's Venezuela's share of the oil profits going to be?
Well, we haven't discussed that, but we're getting along very well with the leadership of Venezuela. They're doing a really good job. We're going to be selling a lot of oil, and we'll take some, and they'll take a lot, and they're going to do very well. They're going to make more money than they've ever made, and it's going to be beneficial to us. We're going to really, I think Venezuela is really going to turn around. You know, I opened up the airspace over Venezuela, so that now people from Venezuela came from Venezuela here. They're going to be able to go back for the first time, go back to Venezuela and stay perhaps, or go back and see their relatives, go for a short period of time.
Sir, do you think China's going to get their money back from all the money they lent to Venezuela for
I don't
oil?
know. I don't know anything about that, but I'll tell you what, China is welcome to come in and would make a great deal in oil. You know, we welcome China. We've already made a deal. India's coming in, and they're going to be buying Venezuelan oil as opposed to buying it from Iran. So we've already made that deal, the concept of the deal. But China's welcome to come in and buy oil.
On Venezuela, do you think that Machado should be able to return to Venezuela?
I'd love to be able to do something with it, and maybe putting the sides together, doing something. I think she's a very fine person.
Do you think
But I think I have to say at the same time, the current leadership is doing a very good job.
Did you have any knowledge of the arrest of Don Lemon before it happened? Did you have any conversation?
No, I don't know anything about the Don Lemon thing, but he's a sleazebag. Everyone's known that. He's a washed-up. Probably, from his standpoint, the best thing that could happen to him, he's getting, you know, he had no viewers. He was a failure. He was a failed host. And now he's in the news. I didn't know anything about it.
So what's your response to Claudia Sheinbaum's warning that the embargo or the restriction on Cuban oil to Cuba, could cause a humanitarian crisis there?
Well, it doesn't have to be a humanitarian crisis. I think they probably would come to us and want to make a deal. So Cuba would be free again. They'll come to us, they'll make a deal, but Cuba really got a problem. You know, they have a problem. I know so many people from Cuba. But we have a lot of people in the United States right now that would love to go back to Cuba, and we'd like to work that out.
What do you want to see from Cuba? I mean, what do you need to see to make that kind of deal?
I think we're going to work a deal with Cuba. I think, you know, we'll be kind. We have a situation that's very bad for Cuba. They have no money, they have no oil. Venezuela, they live off Venezuelan money and oil, and none of that's coming now. And then the president of Mexico, President Sheinbaum, was very good. I said, look, we don't want you sending oil there. And she's not sending oil.
On your plans for Washington, D.C., sir, the Washington Post reported that you're considering an arch that's 250 feet high. Can you talk a little bit about that and address critics who say that might be a little bit too large for the space?
We're considering an arc. It's like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. So for 200 years they've wanted to build an arc. There are 57 cities throughout the world that have them. We're the only major city, Washington, D.C., that doesn't. The circle prior to the bridge, you know, the Arlington Bridge, has been waiting for hundreds of years to have this done. In fact, there are 4 Eagles that got built, but it was interrupted by a thing called the Civil War, and so it never got built. Then they almost built something in 1902, but it never happened. So we have an unbelievable arc that I think will be the most beautiful in the world being built there. It's going to be built there.
It's 250 feet.
I don't know what the height is. It's just appropriate for the site. We're setting up a committee, and the committee's going to be going over it, but it'll be substantial. I'd like it to be the biggest one of all. We're the biggest, most powerful nation. I'd like it to be the biggest one of all.
And to all of the charity.
It's a very exciting job, actually. They've been waiting for many years, just like the ballroom. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom. Now we're going to put up the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And I could have built a much bigger one. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be in keeping with. I didn't want it to be taller than the White House, etc. So I wanted it to be in keeping. But it's a really beautiful building, done by some of the best architects in the world. The ballroom, likewise the Ark. I think it's going to be great. We're just setting up a committee now for the Ark.
Could the money from the lawsuit that you may settle with yourself go towards paying for that arch or for the ballroom?
Well, we hadn't thought of it, but we're going to probably, it's sort of a strange position because I have a lawsuit like the break-in of Mar-a-Lago, and I pay myself that somehow will never look good. So when I had other people, a lot of outside people said, what a great idea. Because nobody cares how much if it goes to good charities. So you settle by giving charities a lot of money. And I think we're going to do something like that. We're looking to do something like
Would
that.
charity be to pay for the ballroom and for the arch?
No, I don't think either of those two. I'm talking about American Cancer Society. A lot of I think they should be probably established charities.
On a answer, you had.
I would say established and respected charities.
On a answer, you had threatened those secondary tariffs on countries doing business with Iran. We haven't seen those yet. What are you holding off on?
Well, we're going to see. Look, we have a lot of things happening right now with Iran. We have a tremendous fleet going in that direction, and they're talking to us. So a lot of things could happen.
And the Canada tariffs, sir, that you talked about, are those coming?
Well, that was on the airplanes. Are you talking about the
about
airplanes?
the China deal that they did.
If they do a deal with China, yeah, we'll do something very substantial. Because we can look. I have a great relationship with China, President Xi, but we don't want China to take over Canada. And if they make the deal that he's looking to make, China will take over Canada. And the first thing they're going to do, end ice hockey.
So speaking of China, sir, there was a military purge in that country a week ago. What do you make of that?
Well, as far as you're talking about China?
Yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, there's one boss in China. That's President Xi. That's the person I'm dealing with.
Are there any concerns about stability or
No,
with regard to Taiwan?
I think President Xi is the boss. I watch it very closely, and he's highly respected in China. He's the boss.
Can I go back to Cuba for 1 second? Who exactly are you negotiating with on the island? Who's the government representative there you're speaking with?
Where?
In Cuba. Who are you speaking with?
We're starting to talk to Cuba, yeah. We're starting
Can you tell us who it
Look,
is?
they need help on a humanitarian basis, and we're starting to talk to Cuba. Don't forget, a lot of people that live in our country are treated very badly by Cuba. And we want them to be, they all voted for me, and we want them to be treated well. We'd like to be able to have them go back to home to their country, which they haven't seen their family, their country for many, many decades. So we'll work that. I'll be able to work that out, yes.
Do you have any update on what's happening with Greenland negotiations? Have you been in contact with Presidents Macron, Starmer, some of those European leaders?
Are you talking about on Greenland?
Yes.
On Greenland? Yeah. We have started a negotiation, and I think it's pretty well agreed to. I mean, they want us to do it. I think it's going to be a good deal for everybody. A very important deal. Actually, from a national security point of view, very, very important deal. I think we're going to make a deal there.
Mr. President, back to your post on ICE protests, what did you mean when you said people will suffer an equal or greater consequence?
If they do anything bad to our people, they will have to suffer. I'm sorry. If they start spitting in people's faces, punching our people, punching our soldiers, our patriots, they will get taken care of in at least an equal way. They're not going to do that. Like, you see it, the way they treat our people. And I said, you're allowed, if somebody does that, you can do something back. You're not going to stand there and take it. If somebody spits in your face, that will not be a pleasant thing for the person that spits. We're not letting people spit in our soldiers' face as they stand at attention, and they're not allowed to do anything. If they throw bricks at a car, at one of our vehicles, and are very expensive vehicles, they're going to be met with very, very serious force.
Sir, do you think it's good having lots of cameras on these kinds of incidents between law enforcement and the people?
I think it would help law enforcement, but I'd have to talk to them. I'm going to be talking to them tomorrow. Actually, I think it would help law enforcement. That works both ways. But I think overall, I think it's 80% in favor of law enforcement.
Who are you talking to tomorrow on law enforcement?
A lot of people. Well, I'm speaking to Christy, I'm speaking to Tom Logan, a lot of people. We have it in good shape. And, Minnesota crime is way down because of what we've done. We've taken out thousands of criminals. What we want in Minnesota, we want them to open their jails and give us their criminals, and we're gone. That's all we want. And they're going to have to do it.
How are you feeling about Secretary Noakes handling the matters in the last week?
Well, she's did great. I mean, we have a closed border. We've taken out thousands and thousands of killers and murderers and everything else, removed them from our country by the tens of thousands, and we have the crime rate that's the lowest in history. I didn't do the crime rate stats. It just came out yesterday that we have the lowest crime rate in the history of our country. So how's she doing? I think she's doing well, and she's a good person. She works hard. Tom Homan is a star. He's incredible. I mean, the guy's incredible. He's got an unbelievable, he's tough, and yet everybody likes him, both sides. So he's been great. But he said to me just tonight, he said, look, they've got to open up their prisons and give us their criminals and their murderers and their drug lords, and we'll take care of them. And that's why crime is down in Minnesota, not because of anything they did, it's because of what we did. Same thing in Chicago. We have crime down in Chicago, and most people don't even know we're there, but we're there doing a good job. We have crime down all over the nation. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
That's a very dangerous shot he's got.
It's tight quarters.
That's the worst.
It's
That's got to be the worst shot.
I don't know.
That's all right. Have a good time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.